0512 local time. The sea is calm, the wind is below 5 knots, and visibility is clear. On the bridge, no one speaks. A single contact appears on the surface search radar. Faint, steady, ordinary at first glance. Its course is constant, its speed moderate. It's logged and tracked, nothing else is moving. 30 seconds later, a second return shows up off the starboard bow. Different bearing, same speed, same silence. Contact 2, surface, bearing 084. The watch officer doesn't even look up. He doesn't have to. The plot is already updating. A third contact appears, then a fourth. Not random, not scattered. They are evenly spaced, deliberate. Each one emerges on a slightly different bearing. Each one holds speed. Each one is moving closer. The bridge stays quiet. At 0514, the radar picture changes again. 5, 6, 7. By the time the 8th return becomes clear, the pattern can no longer be ignored. 8 surface contacts, all moving, all converging. 8 contacts confirmed, the radar operator says in a flat, controlled tone. Ranges are reported, then speeds, then headings. None of them are running parallel. They're cutting angles. The ship maintains course and speed. No evasive turn, no burst of acceleration. The order is simple. Maintain line. Down in the Combat Information Center, the surface plot grows tighter. The geometry says everything. Each contact is adjusting just enough to reduce the closest point of approach. Not aggressively, not yet, but with purpose. CPA numbers begin to fall. No alarms, no general quarters, not yet. The first bridge-to-bridge hail goes out on the international frequency. Clear English, professional delivery, no response. A second hail follows, same result. On radar, the contacts continue exactly as before. No deviation, no slowdown, no acknowledgement. At 0516, speed changes appear across multiple tracks almost at once. 2 contacts move past 20 knots, then 3, then more. This is not chance. This is coordination. The officer of the deck leans forward, eyes fixed on the surface plot. Log all course and speed changes. Below, timestamps are locked into the record. Bearings, rates, headings, everything captured. One contact shifts slightly to port. Another mirrors the move from the opposite side. The shape tightens again. The ship is no longer being approached from one direction. It is being enclosed. On the bridge wing, sailors scan the horizon through optics. Dark hulls are only now beginning to separate from the blue edge of the sea. Low silhouettes, military outlines, no flags visible at this distance. Nationality confirmation comes from electronic support measures. Emissions match known libraries. Russian Navy. The words are spoken once, calmly, matter-of-factly. No visible reaction. The captain steps onto the bridge without announcement. He takes his place behind the watch team, hands resting lightly on the rail. He doesn't ask for an update. He has already been watching the same picture from his cabin. Below decks, watertight doors remain open. No one is rushing. No one needs to. The contacts keep closing. CPA drops below 5 nautical miles on 2 tracks, below 4 on another. The vectors are no longer open to interpretation. These ships are not simply passing through. They are not transiting. They are completing the circle. A third hail is transmitted, this time in Russian. Still nothing. One of the outer contacts sharply increases speed. Its wake stretches behind it. The bow cuts harder through the water. The bearing shifts just enough to cross the ship's projected path. That movement forces another Russian ship to adjust, then another. The formation expands for a moment, then tightens again. On the surface plot, the ring is nearly complete. The officer of the deck speaks quietly. CPA under 3 miles on multiple contacts. No one answers. Everyone hears it. The ship's course remains unchanged. Rudder steady. Engines steady. The decision is intentional. Turning now could remove better options later. In CIC, analysts watch for fire control radar. None. Only surface search. Only tracking. For now. 8 ships, 8 vectors. 1 ship in the center. Outside, the water is still calm. Sunlight flashes off steel. To an untrained eye, it might look like nothing unusual is happening. On the screens, everything is happening at once. The distance keeps shrinking. The circle is almost closed, and no one on either side has made a single overt move. 5:20 local time. The surface picture stabilizes. Not because the contacts stop moving, but because they've reached their places. 8 Russian warships now occupy fixed lanes around the ship. The distances vary, but the geometry does not. Each vessel holds a specific bearing. Each maintains enough room to maneuver, but stays close enough to apply pressure. This is no longer an approach. This is containment. Speed readouts continue to rise. 21 knots, 23. One ship surges to 25, then steadies again. The others respond, adjusting angles, preserving the ring. Inside CIC, the watch supervisor leans over the plot. "They're pacing us," he says. On the bridge, the captain gives a single nod. "Maintain course." No zigzagging, no attempt to break free. Any sudden move now could turn a controlled situation into a dangerous one. Another hail goes out. Short, professional, direct. Position identified. Intent stated. International waters. Safe distance requested. No reply. At 0522, electronic support measures detect another shift. Several Russian ships change radar modes. Still surface search, but with tighter beams, more power, more focus. They are looking more carefully now. The closest ship off the port bow adjusts course by 3 degrees. It's a small change, but enough to reduce CPA again. The number drops below 2 nautical miles. That goes into the log. Every adjustment goes into the log. The ship's own sensors remain disciplined. No fire control radar, no targeting illumination. Nothing that could be mistaken for escalation. This restraint is intentional. Outside, the silhouettes are unmistakable now. Gray hulls, sharp superstructures, antenna arrays, deck guns forward and aft. Not aimed, but not hidden. At 0523, a second Russian ship moves inside the arc, sliding closer to the starboard quarter. Its speed briefly rises, then steadies. It is a test. The American ship does not react. The officer of the deck calls out the update. CPA 1.8 nautical miles, still decreasing. The captain steps closer to the chart table. He studies the projected tracks and the narrowing margins. His voice stays level. Keep recording. No deviation. Below decks, the atmosphere does not change. Sailors remain at their stations. Machinery hums. No panic, no hesitation. That calm is deliberate. At 0524, the first clearly aggressive maneuver unfolds. A Russian ship on the forward arc accelerates hard and angles across the bow. Not enough to make contact, but enough to force a choice. The ship holds course. For several long seconds, the two hulls draw closer, the gap shrinking in real time. From the bridge wings, sailors can see white water peeling away from the Russian bow. They can see crew on deck, helmets on, watching. Then, just before reaching the danger point, the Russian ship eases off. Speed drops. Angle softens. The message is unmistakable. We can come closer. In CIC, CPA calculations jump, then settle. The immediate danger passes, but the trend does not change. Now the ring tightens from the sides. 2 more ships edge inward. Distances fall again. The helicopter crew receives a quiet order to prepare. No launch yet, just readiness. The aircraft is an option. Eyes, sensors, presence. But for now, it stays on deck. The captain does not rush that decision. Another hail goes out. This one includes the words unsafe maneuvering. Still no answer. At this point, intent no longer has to be guessed. It has been demonstrated. The Russian ships are not trying to communicate. They are not escorting. They are shaping the space, compressing the options, and controlling the timeline. On the surface plot, there is no open corridor. Every bearing shows steel. 1 ship in the center, 8 ships closing. CPA on the nearest contact falls below 1.5 nautical miles. The officer of the deck reports it immediately, calmly. No one replies. They don't need to. Everyone on the bridge understands the same truth at the same moment. There is no clean exit, and whatever happens next will happen quickly. 5:28 local time. The first warning comes from the plot, not the horizon. 1 Russian warship breaks pattern. Its speed jumps suddenly from 20 knots to 27 in seconds, and its bow swings inward, not to hold the ring, but to cut across it. The maneuver is sharp, deliberate, designed to force a reaction. In the Combat Information Center, the call comes instantly. Contact maneuvering with intent. That phrase matters. It does not mean open conflict, but it does mean the situation has entered a new phase. It didn't mean weapons, it meant choice. On the bridge, the captain keeps his eyes on the surface display. He doesn't speak immediately. He watches the vector tighten, watches the projected CPA fall toward a number no professional mariner ever ignores. Confirm intent, he says quietly. Below, analysts run the geometry again. Same result. The Russian ship is not adjusting for safety. It is tightening the trap. Intent confirmed, CIC replies. The distance falls below 1 nautical mile. At that range, even a minor error can turn catastrophic. Hydrodynamics alone can pull hulls toward each other. Wakes begin to interact, rudder margin disappears. The order comes without drama. Set condition 3. The ship does not change speed. It does not turn. But internally, everything changes. Critical stations are manned. Sensors are prioritized. Logs become precise to the second. This is not escalation. This is readiness. On deck, the helicopter blades begin to turn. Slowly at first, controlled and deliberate. The aircraft remains chained down, but the message is visible to anyone watching through binoculars. We see you. The Russian ship keeps coming. Then another Russian vessel briefly shifts to a different radar mode. Only for a few seconds, but unmistakable. Fire control capable. Then it drops back to surface search. In CIC, the electronic warfare officer flags it immediately. Fire control illumination detected. Short duration. That goes into the log as well. Another line has just been crossed, not through action, but through signal. On the bridge, the captain finally speaks. Launch the helo. The deck crew moves at once. No shouting, no panic, just practiced motion. Chains off, power up, clearance granted. The helicopter lifts cleanly into the morning air, climbs to 200 feet, and turns toward the nearest contact. No visible weapons from this distance. It doesn't need them. Its sensors are enough. As the helicopter approaches, the Russian ship hesitates. Its speed wavers, then steadies again. The maneuver continues. From the helo's forward camera, the Russian deck fills the screen. Sailors topside, helmets on, eyes following the aircraft. A green laser designator pulses once. Not on the hull, but across the bridge windows. Non-lethal, impossible to ignore. The warning comes immediately after. Russian naval vessel, this is United States Navy aircraft. You are maneuvering unsafely in international waters. Alter course now. The message is repeated, in Russian, then in English. No reply. The helicopter holds its position, orbiting, recording everything, time-stamped, geolocated, legally solid. On the surface, the Russian ship's wake thickens. The bow throws spray hard. It presses closer. CPA drops below 1,000 yards. At that distance, steel fills the view. Engine noise carries clearly across the water. On the American bridge, no one moves. The ship holds course. This is the point where near misses become headlines. Then finally, the Russian bow shifts. Not much. 2 degrees, then 3. Enough to stop the closure. Speed drops. 27 knots back to 22. The immediate collision risk fades, but the ring does not break. The other Russian ships hold position. No one retreats. No one opens a lane. The helicopter maintains its orbit, laser off now, cameras still rolling. In CIC, analysts watch for what comes next. Another fire control spike, another aggressive turn. Nothing. For the first time in several minutes, the geometry stops getting tighter. The captain exhales once, not in relief, but in calculation. The line was crossed, then barely stepped back from. The ship remains boxed in. 8 contacts, all close, all capable. But the point of no return has, for the moment, passed. The helicopter widens its orbit slightly, but stays overhead. Presence maintained, pressure sustained. No one claims success. No one relaxes. Because everyone aboard understands the same thing. Once intent has been shown, it can be shown again. And next time, there may be no room left to step back. 0534 local time. The geometry changes again. Not dramatically, not all at once, just enough to matter. One Russian ship on the eastern arc slows down. Another on the opposite side speeds up. The ring doesn't collapse, it breathes. And in that breath, space disappears. CPA numbers flicker. 1.2 nautical miles. 1.0, 900 yards. On the bridge, the officer of the deck reports it once, calmly. CPA under 1,000 yards. No reply, no correction. The decision has already been made. The Russian ship that broke pattern earlier does it again, harder this time. Its bow cuts across the projected track at greater speed than before. The turn is sharper. The intent is unmistakable. This is no longer signaling. This is pressure pushed to the edge of contact. On the surface, wakes slam into each other. White water surges unpredictably as the hydrodynamic envelopes of the two ships begin to overlap. At this distance, physics takes over. Rudders lose authority. Small corrections become big consequences. This is where mistakes turn fatal. The American ship holds course. A last-second turn now would not solve the problem. It would almost guarantee loss of control and invite the very impact it was meant to avoid. From the bridge wing, sailors can see the Russian hull in full detail. Hull numbers, rust streaks, faces of crew members looking back. Some are filming, some are simply staring. No one is smiling. The helicopter tightens its orbit and drops slightly. Cameras locked. Every second is captured. Every meter measured. The Russian ship closes to inside 500 yards. At this range, missiles and guns no longer matter. Only steel matters. The water between the hulls churns violently. The Russian bow wave crashes against the American hull, throwing spray across the deck. For a brief moment, the ships are so close that neither can maneuver safely without risking contact. This is the point of zero margin. The captain steps forward. Hold! It is the only word spoken. The helm does not move. Engines remain steady. The ship rides out the interaction, relying on mass, momentum, and discipline. For several seconds, the entire situation hangs on a knife edge. Not frozen, but alive. Moving too fast to stop and too close to escape. Then, abruptly, the Russian ship checks its turn. Throttle comes back. The bow eases away. The gap opens. 500 yards, then 600, then 800. The immediate danger dissolves almost as quickly as it formed. But the situation is not over yet. The other Russian ships begin to shift. Not inward now, but outward, slowly, carefully. One by one, they start loosening the ring by degrees, not miles. No sudden retreat, no clear withdrawal, just space returning. On radar, the circle distorts into an arc, then a broken arc, then separate lines. The ship at the center remains steady the entire time. The helicopter stays overhead, sensors tracking each departing hull. No laser now, no broadcast, just eyes. Distances begin to climb. CPA rises above 1 nautical mile, then 2. The Russian ships do not acknowledge anything. They do not signal. They do not explain. They simply reposition. On the bridge, no one speaks. There is nothing to add. The log continues to fill. Timestamps, ranges, bearings, evidence of just how close steel came to steel. The final Russian ship clears the forward arc and moves off at reduced speed, its wake stretching behind it. The ring is gone. The sea begins to look empty again, but no one relaxes. The captain orders the helicopter to remain airborne for another cycle. No assumptions, no trust extended. The ship continues on its original course, unchanged from the moment the first contact appeared. Only now does the bridge feel larger, quieter. Not because the danger is forgotten, because it passed without breaking open. There is no celebration, no release, only professional silence. Because everyone aboard understands how close it came. A little more speed, a little less discipline, one wrong helm order, and this would not have de-escalated. It would have ended very differently. The sea remains calm, the sun climbs higher, the ship moves on, carrying the knowledge that next time, deadly fast may not be fast enough. 0542 local time. The surface picture simplifies. One by one, the Russian warships extend range. Bearings stabilize, speeds drop back to normal transit. What had been a closing geometry becomes separation measured in miles instead of yards. No signals are exchanged, no statements are made. The American ship maintains course and speed exactly as it has from the first contact onward. No deviation, no adjustment. Its track line remains a straight, unbroken path across the chart. In CIC, the surface plot clears. Contacts remain, but the pressure is gone. CPA values continue to rise. 3 nautical miles, 4, 5. The danger window has closed, but the watch does not loosen. Sensors remain active. Every emission is still being logged. The helicopter remains airborne, orbiting wider now, cameras recording the final moments of proximity as the Russian ships drift farther away. This is the part that rarely becomes public. No collision, no warning shots, no exchange of fire, just data. At 0546, the helicopter returns to the ship. The landing is routine. Blades spin down. The aircraft is chained and secured. Memory cards are removed and passed forward without a word. What was seen will be reviewed later, frame by frame, second by second. Back on the bridge, the captain remains in place. He watches the last Russian ship fade toward the horizon, its silhouette shrinking until it disappears into the line between sea and sky. No further orders follow. There is nothing left to direct. The ship continues on. Below decks, systems gradually return toward baseline readiness. Condition 3 is held for a time, then eased. Not because the threat is forgotten, but because discipline also means knowing when to step down. Sailors resume routine without discussion. Meals continue, watches rotate. The ship's rhythm never truly broke, even when the margins disappeared. That is the point. By 0555, the surface plot shows open water ahead. The Russian ships are still present, but distant, no longer shaping, no longer closing, just moving. The logbook entry is exact. Times, bearings, distances, maneuvers, every moment accounted for. No adjectives, no emotion, only facts, and the facts are enough. Because this encounter did not end with force. It ended with restraint under pressure, with discipline tested against intent. The aftermath is quiet by design. No victory declared, no defeat acknowledged. But the consequences are real. Every maneuver was observed, every radar mode noted, every response cataloged. What one side intended as pressure became a record. What was meant to compress space instead revealed limits. This is how modern naval confrontations often end, not with explosions, but with memory. At 0602, the captain leaves the bridge. The watch continues without interruption. The ship moves forward into open water as though nothing unusual has happened. To the outside world, nothing did. No smoke on the horizon, no wreckage, no casualties, just sea and wake. But for those who stood the watch, the truth remains simple. The situation turned dangerous with incredible speed, and only discipline kept it from crossing the final line. Next time, the distances may be shorter. The decisions may come faster. The margin may be thinner. The ship continues on its course, steady, silent, carrying the same unspoken understanding shared by every sailor aboard. When steel closes in that quickly, survival is not about firepower. It is about holding the line until the other side steps back, and knowing that this time they did.